So one of the most important screens is the record table screen. This screen is used a lot in various parts of the program. It's primarily used in the item records, is where it has the most functionality. The first thing is, this is your list of records here, and we're searching by something. So we're searching right now by actually filtering, not really searching, we're filtering by description contains. But if we don't want to search by description contains, we're going to do start new search, and we can do item code. So if we type ABC, for example, so this filters all the items that have the item code that start with ABC. If we don't want that, we can click on the X and have that go away. And we can also do another search. We can search by category, for example. So now you can do a pull down choice, and you could choose balloons, for example, and here's all of our balloons. You can also change which search is your primary search. So if you are here and you want it to always be description contains, you can change to that, and then you do save search, and then you check off the box to make sure that this is the default search. So let's actually change that to item code. So we're going to do item code here, and we're going to save search. We're going to check off the box to make this the default search. Say OK to that. And the next time we come into this screen, we can see that we're now searching by item code starts with. But maybe we want to just find something where it is in the middle of. How do we control that? What if it's starts with, what if it ends with, or somewhere, anywhere in the string? Well, you do have complete control over that. So if you do show power search, you have access to more of these tools. So here you can do starts with, you can do contains, which is very popular, especially for the description. But maybe you want to find an item that really starts with certain letters and things. So you can actually, when you go to search by description contains, and you want to make that starts with, you can do that. So that way you can find it to start with. So it makes it really easy and powerful to be able to find pretty much whatever you're wanting and filter it down. So while we're in the power search, let's look at what we can do here. So we can also filter by categories here. So if we want to find all of our, let's see here, all of our red wine, let's do that, why not? All right, so here's all of our red wine. And now that we've found this, we don't really need to see this panel, so we can hide it and we can put that out of the way. Now, if you wanted to do something special, if you wanted to always have your red wine search, if that was something important for you to do, you can actually go back and you can do save search, and we can call this red wine. And we can say OK. We can do that. And so now we can start new search, and we can find red wine down here. So if we wanted to go back to say just description, get everything, and then come back and do red wine, magically this search remembers that. It remembers the filter, it remembers what we're searching by, and so it's a really powerful tool. But not only is it remembering that, it's actually also remembering the layout. So down here on the bottom right, you have column layout. So this is the default layout where most everything gets saved. And as you make changes to this screen, it actually saves it to that. So you can actually change a lot of things about it. You can change the widths of various fields. And as we do this, we get more space on the screen. You can even add additional columns. You can click on configure columns, and you can get more columns here. So if we wanted to add the average cost, for example, we can do that. And then we can move it up over here, or we can drag it even on the screen here. So if we see it here, we want, you know what, I really want that to be all the way over here. So it's a very, very powerful tool. Down here on the bottom, we have a lot of activity going on. We have a lot of buttons and things that you can do. So starting here over on the left, we have the total number of current matching records. So if we're just looking at this screen and nothing happens, and you're on another screen and somebody makes a change, adds a new product, we don't see it here because Artisan is not going to automatically update across the network all the time. So there is a refresh, but it probably might not be fast enough for you. So to force that refresh, you can click on the little recycle icon down in the bottom. Now, if you switch off of the screen and you come back to it, it automatically does that refresh. So that's another way to do it. Down here on the left, we have an icon that will take you to the top record. And then over here on the bottom right, we have an icon that will take you to the bottom record. So this is very helpful if you have a lot of records. You might have, 20 pages of item records here. So you can certainly find your way around, a little bit easier doing that. So what if we want to add a new product, a new item record? Okay, great. So you can just click on add, and then this will create a blank brand new record. So if you're looking at the menu at the top here, you can see where it says new item record. So that tells you that this is a new item record. So it's just completely blank based on whatever defaults and settings that you have. But what we really meant to do, we really wanted to add some new products that are close to existing products. So come back to items, and then I want to search by description, and I want to just put in plate. All right, so we have these jungle animals dessert plates. So I have another new plate that I want to add to that. So I can, but it's very close to this. It's the same vendor, it has similar part numbers, and it's the same pricing. So it's a lot of common information. So I want to highlight that one. So we've got the blue bar all the way across. And then I'm going to click on the copy, and we have a new item record. It tells us up here in the title bar that we have this new item record. And so there's some things that I want to change about it. So this new plate that I have here is, we're going to call it, it's party animals is what this is, right? And it's really not a dessert plate, this one. Okay, so I've got that the way that I wanted. And it has a different picture. So we want to get rid of that picture. We want to swap it out with a different one. So we'll import that. So this is just some picture that I had downloaded already. So here's our party animal plates. And then back to our basic info tab. This is just a quick view of the item record here, not meant to show you everything about it, more learning about how to use the record table screen. So you could put your UPC code here if you have it. You can just scan that in. You can also put the vendor part number in here. We'll just make up something real quick and then save this record. So now we have another new item. So it really is very helpful to see how easy it is to do that. Of course, you can also import records and do that. We'll get to all that later. So you can double click on the record to edit that record. You can also click on the edit button here. And of course, you can also do the F4 button. Just remember that F4 is always doing something with editing inside Artisan, and F3 is generally doing something with adding a new record. And that's true whether it's an item or vendor or category, whatever it is. All right, so now you know how to get back into it, and you can use the escape key, again, your best friend, to get out of that, so you can come back and go back to your list and continue adding new products, or however you want to do that. All right, if we decide we need to delete something, if a product is, or an item or something isn't what we want, we can delete that here. The quick key is Alt-D, so you can delete that here. So bulk changes is a lot, and in bulk changes depends very specifically what type of record that you're looking at. So if you're looking at an item record, we have a lot of different changes that you can do. And these are groups of changes. These aren't just individual field changes. So like if you were wanting to change your notes and descriptions, for example, you come into this section here, you have a ton of different things that you can do inside this screen. So it's definitely groups. So you'll want to pay special close attention to bulk changes if you have something that you really need to accomplish quickly and over a bunch of records. The bulk changes will affect just the records that are in view. They could be off the screen if you have more than one page, and that's fine. It's going to be basically however many are matching over here, or how many that you have checked off. So you're thinking, well, how do I check items off? Well, actually, it's a little bit of a trick. So you can go to Configure Columns, and there's a checkoff box here. So I call it Check Off the Checkoff box. And you can say OK to that. And now we have this checkoff box over here on the far left. And it will stay there. Even if we scroll out, you can check or uncheck the top box, and it will uncheck all the items. You can then check here and here, and those are checked. And then you could actually search for something else. So if you searched for frog, for example, so if you have these selected, even though they're not necessarily in view, the bulk change can affect those, but you can get out of that. And now you actually have your 4 selected of 338. So if we do a bulk change now, we're only going to work with those 4 selected records. So that's really critical to be able to pay attention to that. So if you want to get this data out, it's going to be based on what you're actually seeing on the screen at the time. And you can even just export fields that are visible on that. So you can just export what you see, or you can export out what you want. But let's just say we're just going to do current fields. And then you have a choice of saving to a number of different types. So once you have saved that, then you can say OK. And then the last option on these buttons here is to be able to print. So this is sort of like a print screen. So it will just do a quick print screen of sorts, but you have choices. So you can actually print a list of records. You can print an individual detail for a specific record, or you can print merchandise labels, or you can print labels for all the matching records that you have on the list. So that's just another way. There's a lot of different ways that you can print, but this can get you some quick information out on a piece of paper if you need to. We've handled a lot of information about the record table screen, so there's definitely a powerful tool. I've really just kind of scratched the surface on some of the things that you can do with that, but I hope that you'll spend some time playing with that and learning the best way to manipulate the view of your data so you can handle and manage and work with large quantities of data, hundreds of thousands of records if you need to.